Hi, Paul. I'm really sorry for having omitted your second essay. Thank you ever so much for waiting. And this is your second correction for the lot that you sent before. Again, really well done. So obviously you had the letter before, which was this one we spoke about yesterday, and that was good. So now we'll look at the international marketing essay. So your question was, international marketing is sometimes seen as invasive and an intrusion into the country in question. Others argue that it is a necessary and economical form of education, in addition to spreading ideas, language and culture. Discuss both views and then give your opinion. Okay, so I've had a look so far and it looks really good. Let's go through it a little bit closer. So the concept of international marketing has attracted both positive and negative comments over the years. While some people perceive this as a form of invasion and a means to intrude the concerned country, others consider this as a medium of cheap learning, apart from publicity of unique concepts, language and tradition. This essay will discuss both views and elaborate on why international marketing has numerous benefits to offer to our contemporary age. Okay, now this introduction has many strong points, so it's good the way that you've started with a strong statement. So the concept of international marketing has attracted positive and negative. And then you've talked about both sides of the argument, which is great. There is one part that I find a little difficult to understand. We'll get to that in a second. First of all, while some people perceive this as a form of invasion and a means to intrude the concerned country, I think we can make this slightly simpler and say, while some people perceive this as a form of invasion and intrusion into other countries, or intrusion on other countries, Others consider this as a medium of cheap learning. Okay, good. This is the part that I find difficult to understand, apart from publicity of unique concepts. So, what I'm thinking here is that you're trying to say that a medium of cheap learning through the publicity of unique concepts, perhaps. So the unique concepts and the publicities are creating cheap learning. Or perhaps you're trying to say accept publicity of unique concepts. So this is a little bit unclear for me. In order to get round that, because I'm not sure what you're trying to say with that one, either have a look at that sentence again and try to make the meaning slightly clearer, or we could take that part out, because I'd imagine it will probably come up a little bit later anyway, and say others consider this as a medium of cheap learning, sharing languages and traditions, perhaps. Okay, this essay will discuss both views and elaborate on why international marketing has numerous benefits to offer to our contemporary age, to our contemporary society, perhaps, or to our modern society. Okay, alternatively, you could say in the modern age as well. All right then, good. As a matter of fact, international trading poses certain threats to the sovereignty of the nation involved. All right then, so as a matter of fact, it's not quite the right meaning here. This one we would normally use in conversation, or if we're trying to give evidence of something. So you could say, for example, if you were using this to give evidence, you might say, less people use computers nowadays. As a matter of fact, the statistics have dropped by 70%. Okay, so just an example there. So instead of as a matter of fact, we need to change that. Perhaps to firstly, if you wanted something slightly more complex, you could have on the one hand. Okay, or in terms of the positive aspects. Okay, so these are all options you could have here. International trading poses certain threats to the sovereignty of the nation involved. This is because the country in question often loses the grip on control of its own economy. Okay, so I would take out the grip on and say often loses control of its own economy. For instance, research has proven that China, capital C, so uppercase C, is no longer in control of its own economy because it freely opened its borders to all nations for trading and marketing. This has also offered some countries, such as the United States, so here we need a comma, so this has also offered some countries, comma, such as the United States, comma, the chance to invade China, capital C, with substandard products, which has led to a very high level of inflation in China. Okay, well done. Good example here. So how China has lost control of its economy, and then the influx of substandard products. Okay, is there a way that you could just round off this paragraph with one sentence at the end? So, for example, saying something like, this is a prime example of how international marketing can be invasive. Okay, that way we're just linking very clearly back to the question and saying what this evidence proves. So in the statement we've got that it's invasive or that it's a good way of spreading ideas. So mentioning that this is an invasion will just link back to that question, which is what the examiner is always looking for, to make sure that you've got consistency and a logical flow through your essay. But yes, you've got all of the key points here, which is good. It's just rounding off that paragraph. Okay. One way to think of paragraphs is having a kind of three-part structure. So the first part of the paragraph is outlining your main point. Okay, so your main point here is that the sovereignty of the nation and losing control of the economy. Then you give your evidence. So here you've got that great example of China and the influx of other products, substandard products. So that's your second part. So first one is saying your point, second one is giving your evidence, and then the third point is just rounding off that paragraph with saying how it links to the question. Okay, so always those three steps in every paragraph makes a well-rounded paragraph. Okay, and then we've got your next paragraph. So on the contrary, good, international trading. So here, be careful whether we're using trading or marketing. We don't want to show confusion here, and we want to show the examiner that we are clear that this is all about marketing, not about trading. Even though they are linked, it's best to stick with the term in the question as close as possible. Okay. So international marketing is imperative to the globe as a whole. It also serves as an inexpensive medium of learning new things and publicizing new concepts. International marketing has offered a vast number of people the chance to learn new things from other countries at a very low cost, and has also given them the opportunity to publicize unique concepts to the world. Okay, good. This is a good sentence here, this 3-line one. What I would say is that these two sentences, so your sentence before and this longer 3-line sentence, are saying very similar things, and because we have such a short word count in the essay questions, it's best not to repeat yourself at all. So what I would suggest is actually taking out this second sentence and staying with this one. The international marketing has offered a vast number of people a chance to learn new things sentence, because they're both saying the same thing. So there's no point in using your word count to say the same thing twice. Okay. And it's also given them the opportunity to publicize unique concepts to the world. Furthermore, international trading. So be careful again, as we said before, with trading or marketing, has also given room for integration of different languages and traditions. Instead of given room, I would suggest the phrase or verb has also made way for integration of different languages and traditions. Okay. In a nutshell, so nutshell is actually one word. The United States of America is an example of a nation which has greatly encouraged international trading, marketing, and has benefited from the advantages which have been pointed out. Okay, good. This paragraph, I would say, has a more of a feeling of well-roundedness than this one. which is good. However, as we said, we've got those two sentences that say the same thing, so eliminate the first one of those. Ray Lacoste has also given them the opportunity to publicise unique concepts to the world. Furthermore, international trading has also given room for integration of different languages and traditions. Okay, so what I would say we are missing here is an example. Okay, so for example, is there a company that you can think of which is particularly popular in other countries? Perhaps in your own country or in another country that you can think of that maybe creates jobs, publicises unique concepts, etc. Okay, so see if you could think of an example there, just because here we need to back up everything with an example, and it would be best to have an example of a company, okay, or even a type of company. Okay, I would be careful as well with the phrase "in a nutshell," because this is quite a colloquial phrase. Perhaps saying in summary. Okay. The United States of America is an example of a nation which has greatly encouraged international marketing and has benefited from the advantages. So again, we need a bit of an example here, because it seems as if you're stating the benefits, then you're giving examples of countries, but you're not giving specific examples of countries. That's what this paragraph is missing. Okay, and just like the last paragraph, finishing that paragraph with maybe a short sentence, just saying that this outlines the benefits of international marketing after you've put in an example of a company. Okay, good. All right. So in conclusion, although international trading, so marketing, again being careful not to cross over those too much, is usually accompanied by both positive and negative effects, I believe that the benefits which this has to offer outweigh the adverse effects. Okay. So this is a surplus subclause there. We don't need that one. So keeping it concise and to the point, would say I believe that the benefits outweigh, no hyphen, all one word, no S on the end, the adverse effects. Good, well done. As such, I recommend that international marketing, so international marketing should be promoted and encouraged on a global scale. Okay, well done. Good. So, like I said, lots of positives here. So a strong introduction, 2 paragraphs that it is clear that you're talking about the advantages and then the disadvantages, just refining that structure slightly in both of those, as we've said before. And then your conclusion is good, just taking out this subclause here, which we don't really need. It doesn't add much to the sentence. Okay, and if we take out parts like this, then we save on our word count, which is kind of optimal at this point. But yes, really well done. So good piece of writing there, and one that you should be very happy with. Good work.